The 10 dangerous jobs of the 20th century. The 20th century. A kaleidoscope of progress and pratfalls, where mankind's leaps towards the future were often accompanied by stumbles into jeopardy. And if one were to compile a list, as I am about to, of the most dangerous waltzes that the brave, or perhaps foolhardy, souls of this era chose to engage in, it might read something like a rogues gallery of occupations. Coal miners. First and foremost, the valiant men who delved into the underworld, not in search of Hades but of coal. Armed with lamps and canaries, they risked their lungs and lives in the choking darkness. And for what? To fuel the fires of the Industrial Revolution. Steel workers. These aerial acrobats of the construction world. They danced on the skeleton bones of skyscrapers, stitching together the skyline of the modern city. One misstep, a plunge into the abyss. Radium girls. Radium, when first discovered by the Curies at the turn of the century, was heralded as a miracle element. It held a mystique, an allure, and was believed to possess therapeutic properties. It was, for a time, the glowing promise of the atomic age. Little did society understand that this very radiance hid a nefarious danger. Enter the dial painters. Employed by watch companies to paint the dials of timepieces with a luminous substance, these women, often no older than girls really, were instructed to use their lips to give their brushes a fine point, thus ingesting small amounts of radium with each stroke. This practice, repeated hundreds of times a day, introduced a slow and silent killer into their systems. At first, the glow was a novelty. Tales speak of how the girls would shine in the dark after a day's work, their hair and clothes radiating an ethereal light. It was seen as enchanting, a whimsical byproduct of their trade. But the reality that lay beneath this luminosity was far more sinister. Stunt performers. The daredevils of the silver screen, these brave souls performed leaps, crashes, and astonishing acts of daring do, all for a few moments of cinematic thrill. How many chariots they must have crashed, or cliffs they jumped off, I wonder. Loggers. With axes and saws, they battled the giants of the forest. But trees, much like certain humans I know, can be quite unpredictable when they fall. Fishermen. These hearty souls didn't just battle fish, but the tempestuous wrath of the sea itself. On rocky boats, they danced with the waves, often at the mercy of Neptune's unpredictable moods. Aircraft test pilots. Testing the limits of mankind's newest contraptions, these aviators soared into the unknown. Sometimes they touched the heavens, and at other times, faced Icarus's fate. Railroad workers. Laying tracks that would stitch the continents, these laborers faced heat, cold, and the ever-present danger of being crushed by the very tracks they laid. Roofers and painters of tall structures. Like spiders on a web, they scaled tall structures. With every stroke of the brush or nail hammered in, they defied gravity and flirted with a fall. Chemical factory workers. Surrounded by vats and flasks of volatile concoctions, these men and women played alchemists in a dangerous new age, often not knowing the long-term effects of their daily exposures. Gazing back from my perch in history, I'm struck by the audacity of the human spirit, dancing so perilously on the knife edge of progress. It serves as a reminder that while the river of time moves ever forward, its waters are fraught with rapids and whirlpools. And as ever, it's not the danger of the dance that astounds, but the courage of those who dare to dance it.